Yeah, so that was 8 months of, it was really, really bad. I lost a ton of weight. I was like 120 pounds, which was so like 20 pounds less than I am now. Everyone at work was worried about me, but I was still working and I was still doing all that stuff. So then I ended up, let's see, after that. Oh, so then it was all about guys. It was, I ended up being with a married guy that I work with. And again, just searching for validation outside myself. It was horrible because it's like I'm lonely and now I'm getting attention from somebody, and that just then feeds this whole low self-esteem because I feel terrible because I'm not like in line with my morals and values, and so that causes me to have a lower self-esteem. And then we started drinking together. I ended up having a really bad series of calls that we went on, like a really bad suicide call in 2015. And it was this guy had slit his throat back and forth in front of the cops. So he was up in a 3-story window and he slit his throat back and forth, and then he stabbed himself in the chest with a butcher knife like over and over again, and then fell head first out this window onto the ground. And I had to pronounce this guy, and for whatever reason, you take 16 years of doing this, and I've seen these horrible things, and then this call for some reason like strike this nerve, and I started having these horrible nightmares, and I started hating my job and not wanting to go to work and having really bad anxiety at work. And I would like literally get panicked when I would be driving the fire engine to a call that was like some suicide call. And so I would go home and I'd start drinking in the morning. It was bizarre because I'd never drink it by myself, and I'd never drink in the morning. So, and it was just straight vodka. It was like, it went from nothing, like socially drinking, to drinking all the time. Fast forward a little before that, I had become really suicidal and depressed, and this was before the drinking started, so I hadn't even started drinking or doing drugs, but I became really, really depressed after this call, and I was suicidal. And so after going to the hospital 3 times, because they know I'm a firefighter, so they're like, okay, well, these are your options, we can either put you on a hold or we can treat your symptoms and let you go. Well, what am I going to say? I'm going to say, please let me go, treat my symptoms. Like, I know I need help, but I don't want to be put on a 5150 hold. That's what we do at work. We put people on 5150 holds, and the stigma in my mind was they're crazy, because that's what everyone at work says. I think we want to like laugh about and somehow like distance ourselves from it. Like, oh, we're not crazy. Those people are crazy. And it's weird because every time I've ever had some weird judgment in my head about somebody, God's always like, okay, here you go. You're going to have that now. So I end up being put on a hold the 3rd time I went to the hospital because it just persisted. And that was one of the most humbling experiences I've ever had in my life. I was in the hospital for 9 days. They had put me on Prozac before I went in there, and that worsened the suicidal ideations. And so I actually had a plan. Like, I was just going to drive head on into a semi. And I was driving when my friend called. So God's intervened so many times in my life. Like, when I look back, I truly am blessed for the series of events that have happened in my life to bring me to this point. But so my friend called me. I drove to the hospital and met them, a bunch of my friends there. My parents were on the phone with me, and that was one of the most humbling experiences of my life because for once now I'm on the other side. Like, I'm normally on the side where we put people on 5150 holds, and now I'm in the hospital on a 5150 hold. And I learned that, you know what? They're not all crazy there. They're just like actual people that are going through hard times in life. And so I met some good friends there, and I learned a lot. So then I get out, but then my coping skill was, I'm going to drink. So I drink, and in the mornings, and all day. It ended up being all day long. It got progressively worse. And I remember one Halloween, I was with my mom and we were passing out candy because we do that every year. And I was falling all over the place. And she was like, Heather, you can't even like function whatsoever. And I didn't really think much of it because I'm like, oh, they've seen me like this before tons of times, like whatever. But that was in high school. So I knew I had this like obsession with trying cocaine again. Like I knew that cocaine was something that I really liked before. And now I understand why I wanted to try that again, because I'm like, oh, well, duh, it goes along with the alcohol. But a guy at work got me the cocaine because that's the only person I knew how to get it from. And so I got some from him and started doing it and realized really fast, because I didn't really before realize like, oh, okay, if I drink and do cocaine, then the cocaine will like take away the feeling of being super drunk. And then people don't really know you're drunk. Or so you think. So I would do, literally it got to the point where I was drinking a gallon of vodka every 2 days and doing like an 8-ball of cocaine every, like 2 times a week, I think. So much that the dealer I ended up getting the guy's number, the dealer's number. I like was able to skirt the guy at work and go through the dealer. Well, that was like the demise of me right there, because then I would just call him all the time. So he started like coming over and saying, this isn't all for you, is it? And I'm like, oh, no. I do it with all my friends. Well, no, I just did it at my house. Like all I would do is drink and do cocaine all freaking day at my house by myself. No one knew. Like, I mean, literally no one knew. My parents didn't know. My friends didn't know. And I thought like, okay, if no one knows, it won't hurt them. Like I'm not affecting anybody but myself. I truly didn't think that. Like I wasn't stealing from people. I wasn't lying, because I just wouldn't pick up the phone. So I'm not lying to you if I'm just not answering your phone call, I thought. So I do it all day at work. I was obsessively watching PTSD videos, and I ended up writing a proposal for my department to change our behavioral health system. That was one of the bonuses of like doing drugs and drinking while sitting by yourself and thinking about what your problems are. I ended up getting into another bad relationship with a married guy at work. Again, it was like this self-destructive behavior. And I remember thinking like, well, I'm already screwed. I already feel like crap. I already don't want my job. Like they might as well just fire me. I'm worthless. And so I might as well just screw my life up more. And it doesn't make much sense. There was like, oh, okay, part like of, oh, this is giving me validation to be with this married person. And it made me feel like such crap in the same sense. So I feel horrible about myself, but it's amazing how much texting and talking to someone and hanging out with them will distract you from dealing with your own problems.